Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Heidi, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? All right, so we're going to have an enhanced version. I would call this the greatest hits of value proposition. So our team worked really hard in putting this together for you. So for everyone, your new roadmaps will start next Monday. And if you have not attended, we went through an amazing foundational prospecting system and live prospecting. So I highly encourage you all to join. And look, before we get into today's session, your past clients are going to become the most valuable resource that you have. You know, in my Chirag crystal ball, which is right when it comes to these trends, like 99% of the time, when your clients refer you in November, the first question a buyer or seller, or especially a buyer, is going to ask is, if you had to pay Mary Murphy her 2.5%, 3%, was it worth it? If you had to pay on your own. And you need them to say yes. So therefore, you need to spend the next 6 months really building strong connective relationships with them. All right, give me 1 second so I can share my screen and we'll get started. All right. So let's just hop into this. This is really enhancing your sales technique so you stand out in a competitive market. If people do not understand what you offer in exchange for what you're charging, you're going to have a problem, right? Our CCD framework: clear, concise, quantifiable. Is it clear what you offer? Is it concise and specific what they get? And does the other person understand? So if you look at the difference between great products and services, the best luxury brands in the world make it really simple for you to understand. If you want a couple good examples, you can go to the Amex website and look at an Amex Platinum versus an Amex Gold. They don't say they have travel benefits, they list them out, right? $150 for clear, 5 times points when you sign up for travel, 25% refund on your points when you book through Amex Travel on one airline that you choose. It is really clear, concise, and the other person understands. Now, go to the Four Seasons website and go to the Holiday Inn website. It is very clear what the difference is, right? And a great value proposition comes down to the words that you say, the materials that you present, and what the other person understands. So let's start putting this together. So remember we talked about experience mapping? You need to first map out what you do before, during, and after. And for all of us here, we have that built out in the end-to-end system, right? So you'll map this out. And even though it's a system, I encourage you all to go through this exercise so you can really understand what it is that you naturally do every day that you don't think about. And here's why. When you're writing this stuff out and you're visually looking at it in the way that we have behind you, it will process in your brain. It'll also show you where the gaps are in what you're doing, where you could start inserting like those little nuances that each of you all do. Now, perceived value is what you think and feel that you offer, right? These are all the things that make us great. So if we'll use ourselves, for example, our perceived value is our coaching, our resources, that I used to be an agent, that I speak agent, that we give you all the materials that you need. But when you start using words, all, everything, it's not clear, it's not concise, it's not quantifiable, right? Actualized value is what they understand you're getting. As a company, we have, and we learned this in building out our Chirag AI, we have 30,000 minutes approximately in coaching sessions that we've done with all of you in the last 4 years, right? But if you don't understand the value that we're offering through the context of what you're looking for and why you signed up for coaching, there's no value to any of it. So when you start thinking about this, write down the best parts of the journey, right? Like if we go to the client experience scorecard, it's those ones that are 7, 8s, and 9s. And then understand, like, how am I communicating this with the client? Now look at it. Your perceived value is what you offer. Your actualized value is what the client gets, right? So think about this. A perceived value in a listing presentation would be a predictable written communication plan. What does the client get? A scheduled weekly call to review the number of showings, the feedback from the showings, results of your marketing, and any market updates. How's it communicated to a client? Through our written marketing plan that we discuss together, collaborate on days, times, the information you want, our availability as well, and how we partner together in a signed agreement. So that's perceived, actualized, and how it's communicated. When you're making all the things that you feel you offer, the next step is, how is it beneficial to the client, right? Feature what you offer, benefit the result to the client, and then how's it communicated? Is it verbally? Is it in writing? Is it through a piece of content? Is it through materials? However it is. Now, your client's perspective, right? You have to define your value proposition from your client's perspective. That is a great starting point. So 3 different ways to do this. Number 1, call your clients. Number 2, email your clients. Number 3, write down what you do is unique and lean into the actualized value. What is the value to the client when thinking about this? So we'll give these all to you. And by the way, this is a great way to reach out to your clients, right? You just reach out to your clients and you say, doing great. I need your help with something. Do you have time for a quick question? Pause, wait for the answer. I'm always looking on ways to improve my client's experience. What specifically, you notice how we use the word specifically, which will prompt somebody's brain to give you an actual targeted answer. Did you find most valuable I did for you in our time working together? You're going to want to call 10, 15, 20 people, right? And this is where you'll start understanding your value proposition through the eyes of your clients. What we think we do and what we find most valuable, right? In the beginning, when we started our coaching program, we felt the tactics were the most important thing. But we've also found in talking to the community, the accountability group, the referrals, right? And just the overall sense of belonging is what you find most valuable. It's one of the most valuable things we have. Here's an email template, right? I very much appreciate the opportunity to work together. I want to know if you could share what part of working together, and I would encourage you to add the word specifically you enjoyed the most. We're always looking for ways to improve our clients' experience. Thank you in advance for taking time to respond, and I look forward to hearing from you. What client is not going to want to share this? Most of them will. And if they don't, that's okay too. Are we all on the same page here, Bill? We're doing good. I got Bill and Heidi on my screen. All right, cool. What makes you unique? What your client shared with you, along with what you feel is unique about working with you than other agents. You know, when you lean into like a technology platform, the way we use it is really different, right? So when we talk about using collections for comps, that's one way we use it. If you look at the insights report, the digital ads, the AI video app, we build that together in a process. And this is what makes it unique. You can have 100 agents go in the same place, but the way they talk about using what's available to them is the difference. Now, there's communication versus over communication. Really, where does it go wrong in over communication? Number 1, it's overwhelming. Number 2, you want a dialogue versus a conversation. Remember, the more the other person's talking, the more you're asking questions, the more you're in control. We all know the med C. So if we're overwhelming our clients with excessive information, we're becoming the main character. We're thinking it's all about us. Don't be a shark, because you're not. You're relationship-driven luxury real estate professionals. A shark smells blood and goes to attack. A client says they want to sell their home and I can do this and I can do this, I can do this. And just remember, they're being driven by their med C, right? Their motivations, their expectations of an agent, disappointments, concerns, their needs, their wants, their desires, their goals, and their unique situation. Those are the things that are driving the client. So great value proposition is going to be fit fitting in what you do in the benefits of the client, what they want. Remember, asking and listening is always best. Everyone wants to be heard. Moving sucks. Like it really does. There's nothing fun about packing up your life to go somewhere else. So go there if you really want to be an advisor, an advocate, and all these other things that everybody says, is you have to go there and be a great listener first. You need to practice and know how to ask the right questions that ultimately creates an interactive part. So think about this. Words matter. No one is paying you tens of thousands of dollars to have their best interests at heart. That assumes that they don't have their best interests at heart. I'm your advocate, so as advocates, children in court that can't speak for themselves. I'm here for you. Well, they have other people in their lives that are here for them. That is not a high-end luxury service. Remember, curated luxury, organically anticipating your client's needs and having them happen before they have to ask. That is what a luxury agent does. So think about this. When you're sharing your value proposition, there's so much more than you offer than collections with comms, your marketing calendar, your communication plan, and the samples of benefit. You have to share how these things benefit them, right? Now, we all have the Compass Tech video that shares exactly how it benefits them in 60 seconds. We encourage you to use about that. And remember, sellers only care about 3 things outside of their Med-C: price, marketing, and communication. So when we go through pricing, a value proposition is you. You are part of the value proposition. So when you align somebody around you control, I control, no one controls, that is part of your value, having people make sense of what is being offered to them and creating role clarity, right? People that create role clarity in organizations are multipliers in what an organization can do. If you and your client realize that it's a collaborative partnership of you two working against the things that no one can control, that's a better experience and more valuable to your clients. When you talk about positioning versus pricing, right? Pricing assumes a winner or a loser. It's a combative conversation. Sharing the market and prompting them by asking questions, having them read to the days on market, list price to sales price, what a home sold for, because you're programming their brain to think in the way you want them to think so they understand. That is a great value proposition, is making things easier for people. Marketing the home. What person doesn't want to know the launch plan from their home? What person doesn't want a calendar that organizes their life that's already chaotic, overwhelming, and challenging for them? Who doesn't want that? Communication. It is the #1 complaint that people have with real estate agents. So why wouldn't you want to make people's lives easier through better communication? Everyone wants a written communication plan. No one wants to work with a business where you don't know when they're open, when they're closed, what hours they work. How do I make an after hours appointment? What happens if there's an emergency? And if you're off that day, how do I get in touch with you? And what happens and when do I expect to hear from you? Clarity is the ultimate luxury experience. When things are clear, just remember the 3 C's. When someone doesn't understand, they get confused. And then it becomes chaotic and overwhelming. When am I going to hear from Bill? I don't know what's going on. And they go back to certainty, which means they just keep calling you. So remember, if your clients keep calling you for information and a service you should provide, you're not winning, you're losing. Stop telling clients what you do and show them how it benefits them. Show me, don't tell me. Now, let's have some fun. Oh my God, today's such a great day. I have a whole screen full of people's videos that are on. All right. So part of doing this, screen 2 and screen 3, you got to level up. So part of doing this is meeting you where you are, right? So we don't want to be hypocritical. Now we want to understand questions. What part of your business do you have a hard time communicating with people? You tell me what you offer, and I'm in real time going to package it back to you and tell you how you share it with the consumer. This is like live coaching, put your money where your mouth is. If this is like a regurgitated canned presentation, I would never be able to do this. But as I say, part of my value proposition is the 14 years that I sold real estate, as well as the 30,000 plus minutes that we've done this with you. So there's not much you could ask me that I'm not going to. All right, who's up first? Okay, so this brings me to my next point then. This is very concerning because if you don't have a question that assumes that you know how to talk about every last single thing you do in this framework in a way a client understands that they always want to buy to you. Remember, no one wants to be sold. Everybody wants to buy.
Well, I'll go, but I think you're gonna
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna be
what?
no, but still, the thing is with, I can go on my listing presentations and I can do that. And I know and I hate to bring this up because there are clients that are just going to be this way and some that are not, but it always just comes back down to the commission, and it doesn't matter. You have a great presentation and this is what this is what you're going to do for them, and is this all work, and you have a good listing appointment, but then it just comes down to money for some of these people. And I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, but that is the one
right?
thing.
There's two things you need to identify. Look, I said this in the prospecting call. My goal, our company's goal, is to give you a system, one system that you could learn and work off forever. Part of this new world of charging for your commission, running your business like a business, is knowing who your client is. Raise your hand if you're a luxury agent here. Everyone raise their hand, right? You're a luxury agent offering luxury resources. You're a person that invests in your personal and professional development on an ongoing basis. You're the top 1% of your field. Regardless of what your sales say, you will get there. So know who your customer is. Now, if you're Louis Vuitton, Four Seasons, or the Ritz-Carlton, are those people looking for price-conscious customers? No. They're people that value experience and luxury more than money. So everyone write this down. When they get into commission, here's exactly what you say. Number one, hey, Heidi, I'm really grateful that you brought this up. What it sounds like is important to you is maximizing the equity from the sale of your home. And do you know what they're going to say? Yeah, exactly. You understand. And you're going to say, perfect. At the end of the transaction, what does success look like to you? How much you invested in commission or how much you netted for your home? Or another way to say it is, what is most important to you? And I'm going to give you two different options, and whatever you choose, I support you 100%. The amount of money that you pay or invest, choose your words, in an agent's commission, or the amount of money that you net and put into your bank account at the closing. Now, this is where it goes, Heidi, to being a great presenter. You're an OG here. Like, you've been here for like a hot New York minute. You were here when I was doing this in my house during COVID. I remember this. So here's what I want to tell you. Anchoring, right? Anchoring and getting the people say, do you believe when you get into marketing and advertising, do you believe that this will position your home in telling the story in a way that will appeal to most buyers that have a distinct need for a home like yours? Yes. And ultimately, by finding these right buyers, do you think it'll maximize your opportunity to net the most money to sell for your home? Yes. And then in the end, you can now go back to these statements. You had shared that you felt that blank, blank, and blank. Do you no longer feel that way? No, I still do. So you have to make a simple choice. If you feel that this is what's going to be best, and this is where you could really get them to focus on, right? Be like, my goal, and you put whatever the price is maximizing this $1 million, right? The goal of a person that might want to list for less or whatever is focusing on saving 1%. The question is which one is most important to you? And if they say both, I would just reply to them. I can really appreciate that. You know, we discussed how we're going to partner together and how ultimately you had said, right? This is the only good time you had said that these things we're going to maximize the equity in your home, get you the best price. And ultimately you're going to have to choose which path is going to work best for you. And just leave it up to them. Be like, I'm okay either way. And just be quiet. More than half the time that people are trying to cut commissions, they're going on a fishing expedition. They're just trying, right? Do you know how many times I have gone to places, and this is my famous line, you know, I'm good with everything you said, and I need you just to give me one more thing. It could be big, it could be small, something that just makes me feel good about moving forward. I've already made my decision to move forward. I really don't care what they say. Some of the times they'll give me something. Some of the times they'll give me nothing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is all I can do. Okay, great, I'll move forward. All right, Chirag, we can add this in. Okay, great, I'll move forward. I already made my decision. Now, where it doesn't go well is like, you know, when we do this and we do this, and they start telling, they start explaining, they start being combative. And I'm like, great. How it starts is how it goes. So who you portrayed yourself to be is not who you really are. As they used to say on SportsCenter, you need to be cool as the other side of the bill. Does that make sense, Heidi? I think, by the way, what you brought up to me today and in this group, I think is the single most important thing anyone could brought up. You want to know why? Every single one of you need to move on from the concept of being everything to everyone. Number two, all of us do not need to directly correlate our value to what someone wants to pay or not pay. That has nothing to do with us. Nothing. All you need to do is practice on being a great presenter and making it engaging and collaborative and really showing the clients so they actualize the value of what you have to offer. I could sit down on a listing presentation with any human being on earth and share the value proposition of Compass, and I don't even need anything in my hand. Because no one else has any of this stuff. None. Client experience, a wider buyer pool, likely to sell, agent-to-agent referrals, right? Oh, we have a great network of agents. Great. What percentage of your company's total transactions are made up of agents that directly share deals with each other? Most companies can't even answer that. And the ones that are franchised are disjointed groups. At Compass, we have a nationwide network of luxury agents that I would go out of 16%. Let's see, that's 7. 1 out of every 7 homes that are sold by a Compass agent is directly referred and partnered with another Compass agent. 1 out of 7. That's 16%. Just about. That's a powerful statistic, right? So when we talk about value proposition, one of the benefits of working with us is our agent network. We have agents across the place in all other countries that we can refer to and that might have the buyer for your home. That's one way of saying it, right? And that's not really benefit driven. One of the benefits of working with me as a Compass agent is as a true luxury brand, we don't franchise. What that means is we have a nationwide network of luxury agents in all the top markets where, in fact, 1 out of every 7 homes sold by a Compass agent is a direct referral by another one. And that's one of the ways that we expose your home to the largest buyer pool, thus helping you get the best price. That sounds very different now, doesn't it? But this is what practice does. I don't sell real estate. I don't go on any listing presentations. I just vicariously live my listing, my real estate agent dreams through all of you. But this is what we need to practice. But until you understand what your value proposition is, you can't do any of this stuff. And start, like, for those of you who want to practice, just practice one part of this at a time. The idea of I have to do it all or everything is the reason that you don't do anything. I'm going to say that again. The reason that we don't do anything, because you want to do all of it and everything, is the reason why you don't do anything. All plus everything equals nothing.
I have a question for you, Chirag.
Shoot.
All right. Here's a scenario. I was on a listing presentation. We did value proposition. We did everything great. But the client was completely unrealistic about the price. We went through all of the comps, as we've talked about before, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. They really liked us. We followed up with them. We had a really great rapport, but because of the price, they went with another agent. Now, as we predicted, the apartment's been sitting on the market. It's been on for over 40 days. So I was right, but I didn't get the business.
Okay, so ready?
Should I be patient, and how should I follow
all
up
right,
with them?
let's go through this dialogue, right? They're tied to price. Does anyone want to share a good pricing objection handler? All right, I'll give you one for the sake of time. Number one, it is important when someone is tied to a price to understand why, right? Remember the iceberg that we always talk about? Above the icebergs, they're just greedy and they want more money. Underneath the iceberg in that price, there's something important to that price, right? Be like, completely understand that you want to maximize the equity in the home. And I would say, Brian, do you feel that since you had shared that we had the best marketing plan, that we could potentially set a record in your market? Yeah. They're going to say that's great, right? So then the second thing is, look, would you mind if I ask you a couple more really important questions? And they're going to say, yeah. What specifically will happen for you if you're able to sell your home at this price? That right there is why they're tied to the price. The second question is, what specifically won't happen for you if you're not able to sell your home at this price? And then the third one is, if you're not able to get this price, if other buyers are not willing to pay this price for your home, what is your plan B? And then based on that, you'll know what to do, right? Then they're going to go through it. You're going to say, look, as you had shared when we went through the comps, right? That the average home in your market in this condition sells in how many days is the average days, Brian?
If it's priced right, you get it in contract right now in 30 days.
Okay, perfect. You're going to say that based on what other buyers are willing to pay for homes, a home in your neighborhood sells in approximately 30 days. I have no problem partnering with you and trying to maximize your equity and set a record. If we're unable to get a buyer to pay this amount in 30 days, are you okay improving the price to blank and blank so we can help you reach your goal of, and then go back to what they said in their Med C? You see how this all ties together? And then in the end, if they don't want to do it, good luck, see you later, right? Another way of going this is, generally speaking, what was the price that they listed and what do you recommend?
The price they ended up listing at was 1.43 million, and we recommended that it would sell between 1.2 and 1.3 at the most.
Perfect.
So
So now you pull up comps, right, of homes that are 1.4. I guarantee you they're much nicer, correct?
Well, in fact, the apartment below sold for 1.295.
Okay, but are there other comps in the building?
There are, but this was the most recent one. That's the
what's
exact same
available?
apartment line as
Yeah.
theirs.
Well, you already tried that line of reasoning, right? So
Yeah.
find ones that sold for 1.4 and be like, look, put yourself in the shoes of a buyer.
Mhm.
And all buyers the majority of buyers are represented by agents that have access to this data. If you saw this property, another buyer was willing to pay 1.295, and this apartment, another buyer was willing to pay for 1.4 and had blank, blank, and blank. Why, as a buyer, would you pay this price for your apartment? Would you pay this price for your apartment, and why? See what they say, right? And then when you start doing that, they're forced to give you an answer driven on logic. And just always say, look, in the end, I support you 100% what you want to do. And these are the things that you need to practice. If I can do it, you can do it. It's a process and words. Make sense?
It does, and we did a lot of those things, and a good amount of it was based on the training I got with you. And so my final question, then following up is, at what point should I touch base with them and just see how they're doing, since they're not doing
Well, just remember they're under contract with another agent, right? So you can actually directly solicit them. And that's it. Just leave it alone and track for when the listing expires, and that's it, right? And in the end, when you're going through like I'm maximizing the equity. What specifically will happen when you sell at this price? What won't happen? In hearing that, you also have to, the thing that no one talks about in this is you really need to assess if you actually even want to work with the clients, right? Some of these people are just batshit crazy, unrealistic, don't spend your time, money, resources, and mental anguish that goes along with this. So on that note, it's 12:01. Was this helpful for everybody? All right, cool. So we'll try, as you can see with these slides and everything, we can get through the training and then we can kind of get into more of the roots in this. So to reaffirm, the roadmaps start Monday. All of you come at 12:30. What I'm going to share in live prospecting, we learned not one person does on the call, and it's going to help you get more referrals and build your referral pipeline. So as always, the love of my heart, I love you all. I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.